Welcome back, Doug and Commish Show Week 13 edition, and we've got the Killer Bees at Desk Jockeys. Playoff implications aren't really very high here. Not really much going on there with Bees or Desk Jockeys. I think both of them are pretty much set at their spots. But I will say this. Tom is playing for pride right now. Tom got his butt handed to him last week. Now, he got beat by 78 points.
That's amazing.
After talking a lot of crap throughout the whole entire week and just the usual loudmouth that he is.
Stupid.
He got beat. That's 2-0 you are against Tom. Do you have any comments for him, or have you pretty much done everything that you can do to make him, feel the way he is?
I have many comments.
Mm-hmm.
Many comments. I've sent him many comments via text.
Mm-hmm.
I've left him voicemails.
Mm-hmm.
I've Facebooked him. And I've called him. And physically talked to him.
Mm-hmm. How do you physically talk to someone?
Physically, like no more voicemails.
Oh, okay.
He's not talking to me anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the best day of my life.
Yeah. In a private phone call that Tom received that he thought was private today, he happened to mention that he was not very happy that he lost, but he's really looking forward to beating you in the championship game.
Well, he's going to have to win a playoff game as I have secured a bye.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to give the rigors of the week to his team to get ready for another game. It's not a soft cake.
Yeah.
A walkthrough.
All right. Well, anyway, on the other side of things, Jockey's still playing.
He blows.
Jockeys?
No, Tom. Let's not talk about Tom.
Okay, because I was going to say, if I remember correctly, Jockeys has killed
you.
you.
He owns me. Yeah. Let's not talk about him. Let's talk about Tom.
Phillip Rivers versus Drew Brees. But I will say this. Tom has a decision to make between Carson Palmer and Phillip Rivers. Palmer's going up against the Lions, who have a really terrible secondary.
Listen, every week we go through this bullcrap with Tom. Play the guy that you drafted to be your guy, Tom. This is why you blow. You have indecision. Rivers is your guy. Play him.
Okay.
Good grief. Every week. Palmer. Play him, man. Play your guy. Rivers is your guy.
Drew Brees against Washington. Actually not a very good matchup for Drew Brees here. Washington gives up a lot of touchdowns, but they also get a lot of sacks and some interceptions. And so a quarterback going up against Washington has really got about 10 points per week, which generally seems like you throw maybe a one touchdown, maybe two, and some yardage. I don't know. Again, I said that this could be a trap game for the Saints. This plays into the Washington Redskins' favor. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and pick Rivers in this matchup versus Brees.
I'm going Brees because I think that when Brees is lined up against all the stats don't take into account Drew Brees' awesomeness.
Okay, I can see that. On the other side, when we look at the running backs, Frank Gore, D'Angelo Williams has a big Q next to his name. But regardless, pretty tasty matchup for D'Angelo Williams against Tampa Bay. And really a good matchup for Frank Gore. As far as if he was to play Jackson there, Jackson also has a questionable. Do you think they'll shut down Jackson anytime soon? No?
I don't. I really don't. I mean, he is the Ram.
Yeah. But will he be the Rams' future if he keeps getting hurt or little mild injuries?
He'll be fine. And he's going up against a super soft Chicago defense.
Mm-hmm.
That ever since they lost Urlacher, they have been horrible.
So you're week 1?
I think it was like week 3. It could have been 1.
I'm pretty sure.
But whenever they lost them, they lost their soul. Chicago's defense is soft.
No more monsters of the Midway?
They're monsters of nothing. They're Monsters, Inc.
Cedric Benson versus Detroit is a fantastic matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Lewis actually said that Benson could have went last week, but really against the Browns, no reason to use him and give him one more week, and especially since Bernard Scott got hurt last week, you see the benefit.
Yeah.
But going up against Detroit,
I need him for the Lions. That would be a good one.
It's true. 25 points easily for Cedric Benson, right?
If Benson's the only runner, sure. If LJ steals some carries because the game's out of control already at halftime, then he'll probably be in the low teens.
Yeah.
But if he's the only guy getting the ball all game, could be a big day for the Benson.
Tennessee has given up 7 touchdowns. I think it's a decent matchup for Joseph Adai as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers Marshall, Ocho Cinco, and Chris Chambers all have really good matchups here.
They do. They do.
And who really knows what's going to happen, because it's kind of an anomaly with all these different wide receivers, because you don't really know what you're going to get. Some weeks they could be really good, some weeks they could be really bad.
That's true.
So it's kind of a toss-up with those guys. But on the other side of things, Hines Ward, Greg Jennings, and Jason Avant.
Mm-hmm.
If Deshaun Jackson does not play, Jason Avant is a tremendously good play here, right?
He is a great play. I wonder about the Greg Jennings and
Mm-hmm.
Donald Driver fiasco.
Yeah.
As Donald Driver seems to be getting the first and second look.
Yeah.
And Greg Jennings is an afterthought right now.
That's true. Anyway, I'm going to give the edge slightly
To the Bees.
Slightly to the Bees.
Slightly.
But not by much.
Well, Greg Jennings, on the same hand, he could be the third look and yet go deep and have a monstrously large big play for a touchdown.
Also, keep in mind that Green Bay's coming off that Thursday game.
Yeah.
So they've had a couple extra days to prepare. And I
get
love
Greg into the game plan.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, tight ends, Dallas Clark against Tennessee. And you also have Tony Gonzalez against Philadelphia. Philadelphia, as I've mentioned before, 10 points a game to opposing tight ends. So I like Tony Gonzalez here.
Me too.
Dallas Clark against Tennessee, although he'll get his normal 5-6 points, I think. Bears at St. Louis, Vikings at Arizona. Very good matchups for the Bears. Vikings, not so much.
Mm-mm.
So
the Vikings, they better hope that Allen gets to the quarterback a lot, because they're going to need some sacks and a couple of turnovers, because Arizona's going to put points up.
Yep. All right. In the end,
I'm taking the morally defeated soft Killer Bees to come back and pull out a squeaker against the desk jockey.
I'm going to go ahead and roll with desk jockeys here. I really like the Benson matchup. I really think that Jason Avant is going to be a huge lift for the desk jockeys. So, anyway, that concludes the Killer Bees and the desk jockeys matchup. We'll be right back with our next matchup.